Hey, good afternoon, guys. This is Evan Schmidt, my son Tyler, and we're here today at Schmitty Racing just to kind of go over some questions on high-low speed adjusters. They come stock on a few machines. Sometimes we can actually, when we're doing a rebuild and revalve, we can actually upgrade shocks with the ones that have just a regular comp knob or a QS3, and it actually makes quite a bit of a improvement in the ride quality, and it just gives you another layer of adjustability that the OEM shocks do not. Tyler was going to start out with the Walker Evans one. That's also one that's available that you can upgrade the single knob adjuster on many of the shocks that actually have that as well.
Yeah, so we've recently started doing some R&D testing with these. The OEM Walker knobs this is only going to be able to use on certain shocks. So Pro R, Turbo R, the new models that came out, Turbo S shocks, these could be added to the OEM platform. But we've seen a dramatic difference in a tuned shock with just the low speed compression adjuster OEM compared to adding on these high and low speed adjusters. So definitely something we would going forward be recommending to guys to be adding on as part of a shock build. The Fox ones, like you said, they're on OEM platforms out there,
like Can-Ams, and I believe some of those have them, not all, but
yeah. But so it's an upgrade that we push pretty heavily just because we've seen it doing testing, running shocks on the dyno, that there's a dramatic difference in performance and tunability in the end of what that shock can do with the adjuster in it. So I'll let you kind of dive in, because we get questions all the time of of guys that are adjusting these adjusters wrong. So that's kind of what the big point of today and what we want to cover is how do you adjust your high-low adjuster, and then probably touch on Rebound as well, because that's another one that I would say.
Yeah, so the one, like what Tyler said, is how to adjust them. What do I need? Which adjuster do I do to do what? And the other question is the why? Why would I want it? So a high-low speed adjuster, and I got my pointer here so we can kind of talk about it. This is for a smaller 2.0 adjuster, which is going to be like on a smaller bridge, and this is going to be for a 2.5 Fox. And both of these you can retrofit those into a regular Fox shock that, like I said, either has just a screwdriver clicker, a plastic knob clicker. Some of them have a QS3, just a 1, 2, 3. And these can be retrofit right into that same hole, and will give you another, like I said, another layer of adjustability. With a single adjuster, you just have a slow speed, and so if you're shocks have a yin and yang. As you are gaining compression, you are also going to probably sacrifice ride quality, because the high speed goes right along with the low speed on a single adjuster versus a high-low speed adjuster. You can actually separate the two, so you can kind of maintain your ride quality and still maintain bottoming resistance. So we'll dive into the what does what. And so on these guys, basically the outer hex on both of these is gonna, and actually will be the same thing on the Walker Evans. The outer one is actually what's going to control your high speed, and that's where the misnomer is, that it has something to do with vehicle speed, and it might be, you could be going fast, but the reality is that it has more to do with shaft speed. So you could actually be going 20, 30 mile an hour and be in washboards or stutter bumps, or like if you're up in high altitudes where you're in shelf rock where you're hitting square edge, tree roots, that kind of stuff. That's actually high speed shaft movement, and that's what you're going to adjust with this outer. And this one's a hex, a 17 hex, same thing with that. That one is just, you turn it by hand. But that's going to be your outer adjustment. The inner adjustment on all three of these is your low speed. And while it could actually be typically on a bigger event, it is a relatively slower shaft speed. So that would be like G-out, it's landing from a jump. Whoops will actually implement both layers, so that's kind of a balance. You may have to crank in some of both, but typically what you want to do is run the least amount of high speed that you can, which will maintain your ride quality without bottoming. Kind of when we go out and tune and when we're adjusting these, we want to adjust them so that on the biggest hit that you're going to have for the day, that you would bottom out just gently. Because if you never bottom out, you're probably not using all of your suspension. So that's kind of an overview of what and how we adjust those.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have any to add to that, Ty.
Yeah, I mean, I think that the main point of these adjusters is it's not vehicle speed, it's shaft speed. So
Yeah.
whenever you're taking into consideration adjusting them, think of it as, you know, when you're going over little mini speed bumps or washboards, like your shaft's going in and out really quickly.
That's your high speed.
That's going to be high speed. When you're hitting a jump, a G out in the dunes, trying to control bottoming and a transition at the bottom of a dune, low speed.
And body roll, that's another thing. Like low speed is going to have the biggest impact on body roll, because that's you're going through a corner. It's relatively slow shaft speed. That's going to be a low speed adjustment.
And finally, you don't have to hold this in place to turn that. So
yeah,
we've had questions of, do I need to hold the nut while I turn the inner? You know, it's spinning. Is it actually adjusting it? You do not have to hold one or the other independently.
Yeah, and actually, if you did that, you'd be adjusting both simultaneously, which you don't want to do. So just make your adjustment. Even though it's spinning, it's staying stationary to where you've got it adjusted. So you basically just adjust either one, whichever you want to adjust. Go ahead and adjust it, and the other one spins with it. That's fine. You're not changing any of the other adjustment.
So on the car here, we'll show you. This is a shock that's a custom built setup for the front of the Talon, one of our shock cars. But this is a great example of a shock that had a different adjuster in it. We've added high and low speed compression adjusters into it, and gives you just that more of a, or bigger of a range of adjustability of what and how you can tune your shocks specifically to what you're doing with the vehicle. Obviously, from a valving standpoint, we're going to do that already internally, but this just allows you to tailor it even more to what you're after. And then the last thing would be Rebound. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, but with Rebound, the big thing is when you're adding Rebound valving, you're going to slow it down. When you're taking Rebound out, you're going to speed it up, less valving into the Rebound. So.
Yeah, both, and this philosophy, if you kind of wrap your mind around also what you're doing, all of these things are controlling oil movement. So as you're turning them in, or a firm, turning, it says hard or firm, or on the Rebound, when you're turning it in, you're actually closing a passageway, so you're restricting oil movement, which is just going to slow everything down. And if oil is not moving, that means the shock is going to react slower. So if if you're going through the whoops and your shock is packing up, you probably want to open up your Rebound circuit, or reduce Rebound, so that's going to be softer or more open, or backing the screw out. All of those mean the same thing. So some models, again, like some of the Can-Ams, some of the, I'm not sure exactly off the top of my head which all have them, like these RC2s, which is effectively what these are. Those have the Rebound. If we revalve a shock, we're typically, on a standard shock that does not have Rebound, we're dialing in that Rebound on that. So there's really nothing to adjust there, but
aftermarket RC2s, Can-Ams. I think that's pretty much it. I know there's a couple varied models of the Can-Am stuff that come with the Rebound, but the biggest thing we wanted to hit on is how to adjust it, because it is a question we get a lot. So, anything else? That's
all I can that I can think of right now. But yeah, again, just really wanted to hit that because, again, a lot of people think it's vehicle speed, adjusting the high speed or low speed, and it really is more about shaft speed. So. Yep. And again, if you guys ever have any questions about walking yourself through adjustments, give us a call. We're here to serve the public, and we want to make sure that everybody's out there having a good time doing UTVing and off-roading, on their time that they work hard to get out there and do it. So
Yep, that's it. Thanks, guys.
thank you. Have a great weekend.